Hey everyone, Kay here. Welcome back to my homestead. Well, we're going to take a little trip around on the four-wheeler and just check out the various, I wouldn't call it progress. It's really, September is really the month where you're finishing everything up. I mean, yeah, some people have a fall garden. I don't really because I didn't get things planted, although I do have broccoli. And I've still got broccoli's recently planted, but that's the only thing that's recently planted. Everything else is kind of finishing up. So we're going to take a trip around and do a brief overview of the areas of my garden. If you're new here, I'm on 9+ acres, and I have garden, and I'm on a hill, which is the hardest part of trying to get back to work with a broken kneecap. Is nothing is level, so I have to constantly, is there a little rock, is there a little slope, so that's the hardest part. I did go down a couple of days ago and I tried to harvest. Randy was here. I didn't want to do that alone, but just after 30 minutes, my back was killing me because you're standing weird, you're trying to protect your leg. And so anyway, I think a lot of things are just going to go by the wayside that I might have been able to nurse along a little longer. But we'll take a look around and you can see where things are and hopefully have a good time. Now let's see if I can get on this thing. This is my all this junk in the way. That's the problem, That's how you get hurt, tripping on stuff. That's how I got hurt. Okay. Okay. All right, this is my new technique. This is my technique. My only technique. How's that? Did it get in? Gotta go. I was just starting to get things organized out here. All these pots over here, a bunch of things I potted up, and are looking so much better. I've actually got onions growing, which it's the absolute opposite time of year, but I've got two planters of onions over there. I wanted to get the rest of this garden soil and the tarp, all that cleaned off. I wanted all those weeds to go away. And then I bought some beautiful bushes, but unfortunately they have died. It looks like they've died since I got hurt. And here we have the last sunflower on the property. I don't know how this scraggly thing is still blooming, but it is. Hopefully I can get a few seeds. The birds got all of my sunflower seed, most of it anyway. This is the basil bed after Gina, who was here, pruned it. This is the strawberry bed. She just got started pulling weeds on that. Weeds had overtaken. She worked on this, which was the celery bed. Still have marigolds. That's my broccoli bed over there. That is anise hyssop, and I need to collect some seeds from that. And that is sage. This is beautiful. See, I've got my electroculture coils in here. What else do I have coming up? I have potatoes coming up in the broccoli bed. Looks like the broccoli's gotten eaten on a little bit. It almost looks like I've got more potatoes than broccoli. There's still a bunch of potatoes in here. She harvested a bunch. And I've got very big pepper plants growing over there. So, and that's the asparagus bed over there with the eggplant, the blackberry arbor. All right, let's get on the four-wheeler and head down. I just wanted to show you that the leaves of the shagbark hickory are down. They're the first to fall. And all of that area where he smoothed out the dirt, added dirt and smoothed it out, is covered in leaves. The mower has not been here in a while, so got a lot of weeds. And we'll take a closer look at that hibiscus over there. It's still blooming and it's gorgeous. It's in the shadow right now, you can't see it. But look at the flower garden. The last potato bed, the Ruth Stout method, I think I put too much hay because nothing ever came up. But maybe they'll come up in the spring. All the sunflowers were taken out. I think there's one little one dried up in there. And the roselle are actually the tallest plants. But I haven't seen any calyxes. Is that a monarch? Oh my gosh, it is. Hold on. Here's a better shot of the roselle. I just turned the electric off. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know, there's maybe 10 plants in there. But from a distance I don't see any calyxes, which is the reason I grow it. Plus I don't see any flowers. You're not going to see a calyx if it hasn't even bloomed. Oh, gosh, the monarch flew away from the corner. It's all the way in there. Can you see it? I cannot get in there, I'm sorry. Oh, come back. It just went from one coral flower to the other. To the other. To the other. It's into the pink. Did you know, my understanding is that monarchs can see red and orange from the sky. And that's why they're so attracted to the tropical milkweed. They actually can see color. Can you imagine? I can see it over there, but you probably can't see it, so let's go. This is the vineyard, my 9 plants, and it's still putting out fresh leaves. Even though I worked really hard to make this meadow have more flowers, more variety, less just grasses. You know, except for the yarrow, which you can see over here, they're brown, it's just the seed. Except for that, you know, not terribly impressed. And I think I'm just going to have it completely mowed for the winter. Start over in the spring. Or mow it in the spring, I'm not sure. What do you think? From here you can see my elderberry bushes that provided me with some of a harvest that I got to make syrup. You can see in the lower garden down here, the corn is gone. The only corn that's left had peas growing up it, so I left it for support, but that has been tilled already. And as things come out, it will be tilled. I've still got okra producing, a lot of flowers. I can see 25 flowers from here. And the flower corn is down there. Okay, I've got my crepe myrtle here in bloom, and I've also got a coral and a red one behind me with a few blooms. I was thinking that Arctic freeze might have killed them. Let's go over and see the squash bed over there on the other side of that tree. Okay, this is a wild idea I had at the last minute because I was having trouble with the squash down in the lower garden, and I thought, I've got all these seeds that's been sitting around that I've never had the space to grow, and I thought, just develop one big squash bed and you confine your squash bugs to one area. I know it's monoculture, but I'm just so sick of squash bugs. But anyway, now I see I haven't been down here, and now I see this one is, well, they're all going to be covered in powdery mildew. And they're turning yellow. That's probably from the squash bugs. And the only thing that actually looks good over there, that big swath, is the birdhouse gourd. That whole thing over there. So, you know, you do your best. That's what you do, you know. You just do your best and see what you get. So you can see that the area here, I had 2 rows of beans, and I had snow peas that I had planted for the winter. They didn't really make it. And the row of calendula died, finished out, and then there were about 25 peppers there, and they're gone, and he tilled all that. The soil looks so much better than it did 2 years ago. We left all this 1 row of tomatoes. They're called Tommy Toes here. They call them Tommy Toes. It's cherry tomato, tiny little cherry tomato. Because I've got a really huge cushaw squash growing in here. Let me see if I can mosey over and show you. This is the small one right there. It's green stripes on white. I see he left these 2 peppers here. Those are very hot. And this is the big one in here. It's hiding in the shade, which is why I didn't want to take this row of tomatoes out. I want it to kind of fall off. I'm having trouble curing the cushaw. It just doesn't keep. And I don't know if it's because I'm doing something wrong, but I wanted to give this one a chance. You can see right now it's 2 feet long. So I do not know how, well, you can't tell that, but it is. But I would like it just to fall gently off. It only has 6-8 inches to drop. And that way I know for sure, because I don't know if it's because I'm taking them off too early or because cushaw just doesn't keep that well. So he tilled this, but a lot of the blue spice basil was so close to the fence it didn't get pulled up. You see the archway, it didn't completely develop as I had hoped, but it's very thick on one end and medium thick on this end and sparse in between. So I've still got beans and peppers and all the sweet potatoes and the wild goose peas to harvest down here. So there's a lot still to finish, and most importantly, the flower corn, which is looking very, very good. I just turned the water on. I'm going to try to do my best I mean, there's nothing I can do except water it, turn the water on, turn the water off, but hopefully it will finish and I'll get some nice flower corn. And let's take a drive around so you can see the flowers. I see some ears. It's a very short corn. It's only 5 feet tall, so hopefully I'll get some good ears. Here's the okra. As you can see, there's lots of flowers right on top. You prune okra, you harvest okra as it grows up. So then you're basically, I don't see much at all. And my brother's coming and he wants okra. So we'll have to eat the okra I harvested yesterday. Got some peas in there that need to be harvested. Got a handful of Amish paste tomatoes. I think that's the only one left. Those are more peas. Let's get around. thought this was a bush pea. Look at that. Oh my goodness. My neighbor's so awesome. The other day said, "You need anything?" I said, "Could you please check the electric fence?" And he came down and he worked on it for a couple hours and got it going, changed a wire out. That thing blooming right there is, I don't even know if you can see where my hand is pointing. That thing is the leftover cover crop from last season. That's the mustard, the black mustard. So you see, I mean, it looks like I got a big full garden left, but it's definitely winding down. And the sweet potatoes are ready. We harvested, I think, 5 or 6 when Randy was here 2 days ago. This is so amazing. Is this garden balsam? I'm just stunned, and I have a feeling that's all that will be here next year if the seeds explode all over the place like they say. There are a couple of roselle that made it. I pulled out 5 plants the other day that just shriveled up. I think it was bugs or the root rotted. Too much water. Still got a few watermelons in there, and I've got radish cover crop as well. This is a Henderson baby lima, that one row there. And there is my, hang on Kay, hold on. That, why I didn't wear a hat, I don't know. The pepper plant I was so interested in is right, gosh, it's right in there. And the leaves look bad, they're spots. And so I can't really do much about it now, but I'm going to, there are a few peppers on it, and I'm just hoping for seed for next year. That's the best I can do. My cover crop seed should be here today or tomorrow, and I'm going to get Randy back over here, hopefully before it rains, or we'll water it, and we're going to just start filling in these areas that are already bare with cover crop and that hay over there. And he's bringing more hay. Side garden, and that is lamb's quarters, a huge bush. This fence is 7 feet tall, so the tallest part of that is 8.5 feet probably. And Daryl said to let one plant go to seed, and then you've got seeds. And that it's better to have lamb's quarter coming up in the spring than other weeds. It's more preferable. Very easy to pull out, and then you can also eat it. It's nutritious. So I got a few peppers here, and beans are still kind of, the red calico is the dark one on the end, and that's looking pretty good. And then I've got the volunteer squash over there, and I've got this watermelon putting out all these leaves here, a few flowers. We'll see if they have time. And then I've got all those weeds over there. I just got this all organized right before I got hurt, and then that was next, and it's just covered in weeds. Gina tried to pull some of the weeds around the plants, and I can see I have more peppers and beans. And there's one big, huge zucchini that thing is growing over there, and I want to, let's see, where are we? That thing. I want to ask you about it. Okay, I drove over to this far corner. This is the back side of that trellis with that huge volunteer squash, and I don't know if you can see it down there. I guess I'm going to have to get off, but it's enormous. It looks like an enormous zucchini, and it's the third one. The first one was straight because it was hanging down off of the side over there, and it rotted on the bottom, and we cut it off. And the second one was curved, and then I've got more growing down in the squash bed that I actually planted, so I don't know what it is. Could it be a calabresa? Is that possible? Which is like a big version of zucchini. Let's see if I can get over there. I mean, this is a monster plant that shows no signs of slowing down. And I can see 2 feet. There's a bunch of weeds in here. I'm not loving that, but look at this thing. Okay. That's about a foot right there, and that's another foot right there. I can't even see the end of it for the weeds. I got a mosquito on my ear. It's cold, nice and cool and hard, and it's at least 2 feet long. What do you think? Let's see. See if there's another one. Now I've got one inside the house, and it's too big to go in the refrigerator, and I haven't done anything, and I hope it's not going to go bad. It's sitting there. It's not going to cure. You know it's not going to cure. It's still green. So slow and steady wins the race.